Okay, well, 10 o'clock, call the meeting to order.
I'll move to approve minutes from the previous meeting.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All ayes, motion carried. Do we have any additions or anything to the
I
agenda?
have nothing to add.
I'll move to approve the agenda.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. All ayes, motion carried, agenda is approved. And we go right ahead with the ladies from the senior center.
Our grant has been approved. You probably saw it in the section. And we was just going to bring you up to date and see if we could start beginning on that. The bid for the cabinets we're going to give to Keith, it was $4,000, I believe. And he came in and he kind of drew and sized, fitted in his, so we have the right cabinets coming in. And I can't remember who's going to
Chad Peterson will install them.
install the cabinets for
Or they're
us.
going to put in the very same cabinets where they were at before. We didn't move anything because the girls didn't want it moved. They wanted to keep them where they were at. But the cupboards aren't the right size that normally cupboards are, so Keith had to order a special size to go in there. And we already had a new countertop on there for VT. So we wanted to save that. So Chad's going to take the countertop off and replace it again.
That'll really
And
update
BT
that
will
nicely.
come in and replace what's missing.
Will this interrupt the congregate meal site?
Well, it probably won't be very convenient to cook in the kitchen, but there is crock pots and there is things like that that they can use. And it may, and maybe he can do it, a lot of this in installing them in the afternoon and evening.
Did he indicate how long it might
No,
take?
he did not.
How much was your grant for?
$4,500.
That'll update that nicely. That'll be very
Yes.
nice.
And we went out and got donations of money to help with this grant money. Inside what
So we've got about 11, well, make $10,000 total, isn't it? 9 maybe.
9,600 and something with the grant and with what we've collected from around town. So,
It'll be very nice.
so we've been working at it.
What else are you doing to the kitchen?
Okay, and then we have a bid from Keith for flooring, laminate flooring he suggested putting in there.
New ceiling, we hope to put in a new ceiling. We want to paint it.
But I think we're going to pay for the new ceiling because we didn't put that in our grant to begin with, but we might need to be done. But we have money enough that we can do that from our,
New wiring is going to be done where the dishwasher and underneath the stove and all of that connects. Shane, I don't know his last name, said that it was in very poor condition and he's going to come in and wire that, and I think he's going to wire the whole thing. That's what I
Yeah,
heard.
we talked about
After July.
remodeling that, not remodeling, updating the wiring. He'd mentioned to me that it was in poor shape, and with everything new, we talked about this some time ago.
well, we have in our bid with Shane that he's supposed to put new lighting in the
Yes.
kitchen.
Oh,
And he's supposed to rewire under the sink for the dishwasher. Because Jerry Yule's going to do the new plumbing in there. And he said it needed an electrician to rewire, so we got Shane to do that. Well, we're keeping it all locally.
Good.
Well, we're getting a new roof probably.
Yeah,
Four
we're
dollars.
about the new roof.
Everything else down here, they have quite a
It'll
building.
be in really nice shape
So
then.
you should almost have a new building over there
Yeah.
once we get done. Because we intend to put a new ceiling in with, when Shane does the lighting, a new ceiling.
You're gonna have a suspended ceiling then, like in the other room, or
I
what
think
do you have in mind?
yeah, that's what our intentions are, get the same bell lighting.
Keep us posted on how things are coming and when it's finished.
Well, we have to give the grant people an update every 3 months anyway on what's being done, but her and I have done a lot of this legwork, and we decided we should come and tell you guys what we really
We
got
appreciate
planned
that.
to do before we start in. Because we were ready to go order the cupboards, and then we thought, no, we better back up and do this first, so.
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank you.
You have a really nice spot now with having both rooms.
It should be.
And
Wasn't
it should
approved
be
just
about
that hour.
all done,
That should
basically,
take care of everything.
if it gets the new plumbing and the new wiring along with it. But these first cupboards Chad could put in, that Keith has ordered, he could put in without having to disturb any wiring or plumbing or anything. That's all just straight covered, so that shouldn't take too,
Did you get a stain cupboard then?
Yes.
yeah.
Good.
And it's adjustable shelving. And the bid is 4,000, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Another thing, we're under Partners for Progress. So we'll give Partners for Progress the money so they can pay the bills, and if it's audited, they'll get the audit we want.
Well, they're our fiscal agent, they're the one backing us because we're off of them, so.
Very good.
We did accept the bid, the low bid for the roof
Yeah.
on the
Oh,
building,
they did?
and did he indicate when that's gonna be done?
No, he thought probably towards the end of July or August. He was gonna probably do it on the weekend and get it done.
So that will be that activity at some point.
Yeah. Well, we figured it'd be easier for them to go and talk to the girls and work around when it would work with them to what they have to do to have them do it.
Sounds good.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank
you're
you very
welcome.
much.
Thank you.
That was the second endowment grant.
Second.
We have a notice from the Veterans Affairs Commission that Ron Philmeyer's term is up on that commission, and it's up to the Board of Supervisors to appoint or reappoint, and he's indicated that he wants to stay on that board. So it's a 3-year term, beginning July 1st.
I'll make a motion to reappoint Ron Philmeier, Veterans Affairs.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All ayes. Ron will be reappointed to the commission. Veterans Commission.
Sherry?
Good morning, Sheriff. You may as well come up, Sheriff. Anybody else here?
No. I don't have no meeting, you can't come.
The one is the master matrix for the map. Answer two side, yeah.
Are they expanding it or something, or what are they doing?
They're just going to increase production. They're not changing the building size, they're not doing, so, you know, they passed the master matrix when they built the buildings, so I can't see why they can't do it now. So, went over it and I have no problems with that, so.
We've met the requirements as far as doing everything necessary to go forward. We need a motion to approve that, Jim. I assume.
Yeah, probably.
I will move approval for the master matrix on the Cert 2 side.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Okay.
All ayes. Mentor side has been approved.
I don't know if you just wanted to see the master
Yeah, I'll
matrix.
look over it. That's your department, it all comes out of the
And they're just
total numbers.
increasing the production,
Yeah.
the number of animal units.
Mhm.
Where's this one?
That's our twos.
Out here.
Out on Perkins and then
Yeah, okay.
straight up.
I went by it
2.5.
Sunday.
No,
It's just way up the Nemo.
Here's another one. Another one, if you can look at this. One,
They missed it.
Do you have a section of the township?
Jackson 8. Here's a map, all the setbacks and stuff.
guess I didn't realize they needed to go through that process again if you were just changing animal units.
That's where I called the DNR too, because like I said, well, they're not increasing,
If they're not changing the
Yeah, they're
site
not
or
building
anything,
anything.
and
but they're just increasing production, so that's a change in their manure management plans, which sends them through the whole thing.
Exactly, how do they increase production? They put more hogs
More
in it,
animals in
or
the
do they
building.
make another cycle?
I would say you'd have to put more animals in the,
It doesn't tell me that, it just says how many they're increasing from one to the other.
I mean, your building is square feet is square feet, and
They probably had it at max when they built. That's why I'm wondering if there's a way to work another cycle.
your
You
rotation
know,
is a little-
sometimes some of those finishers, they're foregoing the time spent in a nursery somewhere. That might, so they, instead of starting pigs in a nursery, then moving them to a finisher, they're bringing isoweens right in to finishers, and I bet they might have.
But that would reduce the animal units because you're,
Number ahead,
yeah,
why would it?
Well, no,
because those same animals would be in the same space for a longer period of time. To increase the animal units, you would have to, I would say it would be,
But if they're one time, if you're counted, even when they're little, they're supposed to be so many.
Yeah.
right, but you're counting head one time though.
Yeah,
But
but
what,
if you're increasing, putting isoweens in and taking them out sooner and bringing more isoweens in.
You know,
more
like-
often.
yeah, you could do that. I guess my.
But if you go in, if you fill the building with isoweens, you can get more pigs in the building than if you put.
For a period.
Yeah, and then you have a mortality rate that's built in, you lose more isoweens.
I was thinking on from
Especially
the other
if
angle
cold
in that
weather,
you would maybe be using a grower site, so then you would have more numbers. They would be in there less time. You'd put them in at 60 pounds, and so then you would actually have more animal unit numbers per year. That's what I was thinking.
They're going-
And it doesn't matter. I mean,
Yeah, it just says it's going from 4,800 to 6,550.
because you'd only be counting in one time. I mean, you could do it either way.
And then, Devin is the bomb guards, and Jack, did you get a letter?
Yes, we got a letter on that. That's
Okay.
I passed
Yes.
it.
Oh, you passed that already?
No,
Well,
we just got
we
the
passed
letter.
it. We got the letter, I passed the letter.
We were waiting for
They're
your
in that
description.
That transition zone.
Urban transition, yeah.
And I guess there were no indications of what they were doing, it just said they were expanding.
Did they apply for a building permit?
Yeah, I got the building permit here. Here's their map, which, I don't know who the engineer was, but I think it was 4. And I called him up and I said, explain this to me. I said, what is
You know
this
what I mean?
dotted line everything? Oh, that was when we were gonna do that, 20-foot
Oh.
setback. And I said, well, why don't you eliminate it?
The gray, the shaded area is the new part.
So what?
Not all, no.
It's concrete.
So what is the change, Sherry? It's not really.
This is the new addition they want to put
Okay,
on. And it's
Oh.
gonna be, you know,
kind of in the northeast corner.
yeah. So it's just gonna be a little over 5 feet from the property line. So that's kind of the big issue.
And so that was that's going to be metal structure building.
I think so.
Because back here's, that's their open yard where they have gates and posts.
A little square, can you figure it out? You know, okay.
Pretty good, it'll be a big operation.
Looks like they're gonna pour a lot of concrete.
Yeah.
They've got a very active operation. I mean, they're very good business.
I didn't know if it's something we talked to the neighbor to the east. I mean, ask him if there's any issue that way. Or is that something?
Is that Jim Galbraith?
Yes.
His land surrounds it up north and east.
No, just east. Isn't it Domino property?
I
Oh,
I
no.
have to not.
Uh, Gary Domino's brother farms.
But I think on the setback north, I think there's plenty of room that way, I think they said.
So what is the written, I mean, I'd like to see them be able to expand their,
That's what it says in the
Facility.
code, in the ordinance.
so that kind of sets it back to the city then, right?
The zoning commission kind of, the city has no say, so I talked to Adam and he said, well, it's not in the city limits, as long as they don't have a problem
Right.
with it.
They don't.
Yeah, our letter said that they were fine.
Whatever said that was-
And I have a copy of that letter, then, so I can stick it
We've
with
passed
them.
it.
Yeah.
Can I see the map?
Oh, the map. Underneath,
There's several.
I shouldn't be there. Yes.
But, and this one actually has more written description, but,
Well, that's my writing on it, so I can,
okay.
that was, that writing.
Did you see that?
I mean, it doesn't really say we have to talk to the neighbor, you know, but I think it would maybe stop problem if it's gonna be one down the line, you know, I need to see if there is an issue there. You know, just as,
With, I'm just thinking it through, with that said, like, in the country, if, say you're building a building or a home up next to the property line, what is a written rule? As far as fence line, and I know you can't overhang,
yeah.
but what,
There is a setback, I think it's like either 10 or 20 feet or something like that, I would say. I don't know right now.
and what is this gonna allow?
This is 5 feet,
5
2
feet.
inches.
I guess I think as a courtesy, we should maybe contact them.
That's what I think, I mean, just to see if there's no problem there, you know, with him, I would see no problem, you know, myself, but.
I mean, I'd like to see them be able to expand they're doing a really good business.
And even if there is a problem, that's not saying, you know, we still can't go ahead, but at least then we would know if there's an issue, you know. So,
So, as far as agricultural activity, as long as you're not infringing over the property line, I would think he would be okay with it.
well, because I don't think there's an issue, but, you know, I'm I don't think the same as everybody else.
I think it's just being good neighbors though, so
Yeah.
letting them know what's going on.
Yeah, so.
But there is a little bit of a water problem there.
But that's, I mean, it's already there. I mean, it's not
Well-
down in front. That
But when
ditch
you put
gets
a
full.
building on it, you got the wet area where the water,
Yeah.
push water off
Yeah, and
onto
if
the other property.
and if it is gonna be all concrete, it's gonna have to go somewhere,
Yeah.
you know, so that's,
The only other question I have, they gotta make sure that overhang on the roof doesn't go over the property.
Right,
That's my-
because as far as ag equipment, you just can't have anything
Yeah, I
over.
know it. That's the only problem I have, is like make darn sure that that roof line doesn't go out over that 5.5 inches or whatever.
5 feet.
5 foot.
Okay, so, do you have no problem with it, or I guess we would need a.
We talked just briefly while you were getting the paper in and as far as, it's a 5.5-foot setback, is it necessary to visit with the neighbor to the east?
Well, it wouldn't hurt.
That's kind of,
Well, just be a good neighbor.
just as far as information and if he would have any concern. I'm hoping with that parcel being used for agriculture, that as long as you didn't infringe on the fence line, that he wouldn't have any issues with it.
None of you have any issues, see it? Right, that's all we need then.
Well, thanks very much, Sharon.
Yeah.
How's things going otherwise? Busy?
Yeah,
Did you inspect the new restaurant, Lakeview?
that's this afternoon's project.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 12:30.
Do they have an opening date finally?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, I think, I get all that. Saturday night, they opened it up, and they had people that helped build it, and different business connections, and then Sunday night, they had people that invested in it, and they served dinner. And, so, it's going pretty good, I guess. And I think they open tomorrow. I think they open at 4 or 5.
I know we plan on tomorrow, and she just asked if I not come tomorrow at 6 o'clock. She said, so I said I'd be there this afternoon, maybe.
Yeah.
Much other activity as far as things going
A
on?
lot of building
Yeah, because of the storm stuff.
between the storms and
Sure.
everything, so a lot of that going on. But
You're getting more and more permits other than after they start the unit. You know, at first we had quite some problems.
most of them are coming in now before.
They're
There was a
coming in.
guy the other day that came in, I never heard about it yet. But Mike Radello did send them on down and stuff, you know.
We have noticed in the paper, though, that you are, that there's been several
Yeah.
things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's the head in
We
front of it.
appreciate that.
Yeah. That's one of them started in the, you know, you should advertise it, and I said, where? I said, it's been in the Spokesman, been in the Tri-County, it's been in the SAC paper, I said, it's on signs, you know, it's been in the Farm Bureau paper, I said, posted in the lumberyard, I said, where else would you like it? You just stood there and looked at me. I thought, okay, let's go someplace else. But, well, otherwise it's going. The time of transfer is a big problem issue for a lot of people.
Do you have those permit application forms?
For a building permit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We might want to put one on our website. We're redoing that website.
They can even go on the website now and get it.
Okay,
Yeah,
they
underneath-
can.
Yeah, underneath miscellaneous, there's zoning is listed.
Okay, good,
And
all
then
right.
there's an application.
Well, that's
on
right,
it.
I've seen
When you replace something that's been destroyed, like a bin, it's been knocked down, and you put a new one up, do you have to get a permit for that?
If it's completely reconstruction, you're supposed to get it. And I had told a few of them they didn't need to. So I said,
Reconstruction of cement and everything, what about if you put it on the same pad?
Yeah.
You really shouldn't need to on the same pad because it's,
well, that would be kind of a reconstruction.
well, but that's the same footprint. You know. The description has always been that if you change the footprint, that you would then be required.
No, if they change size of anything, then they definitely, but.
If you go up to the same diameter bin on existing concrete, you don't.
And then you shouldn't have.
That was the way we talked about it.
But it-
Because there's some of that going on,
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot of repair.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking Nancy's thing.
Yeah, but I think as I had interpreted it, is if it's the same footprint, that you're okay. If you change that footprint in any way.
Well, in the code, it says, oh, if it's reconstruction, if it's a repair, yeah. And I mean, like a guy came in his house partly because he's gonna fix it, he didn't need one. But his machine shed that's completely wiped out, I told him to get one because it's not like a reconstruction, I guess. You know,
Okay.
so. Anyway, but there's a lot of that going on.
First,
What's the name of the corporation doing the master matrix that you approved today?
Mash offs,
Mash offs?
yeah. MESCHOFF, mash off.
MES.
MESCHOFFS.
I was kind of glad to see.
Is that like an ink or something?
What's that?
Is that an ink or an LLC?
LLC.
And
I have a lot of
is that for hog confinement?
It's for an existing hog confinement.
It's for hog.
Resting.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, the Miami.
They're not building anything, they're
They've
just
gone out there with
changing the number going through.
Mavericks. That's what
Thank you.
Yep.
Great, well, thank you very much.
Yep, you're welcome.
Anything else?
That's all I have.
I assume this engineer's gonna be here, so we will recess until the engineer arrives. Call the meeting order.
County crew graveling Eureka Township, scheduling address projects on M68 and M43, South 20, blazing gravel roads, spraying trees within the right-of-way in Wheeler Township, repairing drain tile on 160th Street west of Lee Avenue, installing road culverts between section 28 and 28 Coon Valley Township, scheduling Sac County contract graveling operations to start possibly Thursday next week.
It's this week.
This week, excuse me. For some reason I'm a week behind my date. Project update, Dixon, they're getting ready to pour that bridge deck. Right now it's scheduled for tomorrow, unless the rain changes their plans. They originally had planned for today, but rain yesterday postponed, so. Bridge replacement, week 22, 27, still haven't got a start date on that project. We'll probably get ahold of Richard and try to get something set up and get that started. Highway 20 update, DOT has scheduled a pre-construction meeting for the paving project from N14 to N.
Oh, they're actually gonna have let's say when they're gonna start.
They'll have a meeting next week we'll find out probably where they're gonna set the plan up and what their projected start construction date is. I guess I didn't put that on there, it's next Tuesday when the meeting is, so.
There's a possibility they're gonna pave some of that this year.
Yeah, they'll get started if they can, and I don't know, I haven't driven it, so I don't know what all is ready, but I think they should have, Moynihan should have the 3 miles that they've got in Calhoun County done, I'd say by 1st of August. I mean, they're getting close. I've seen some of this out here, it looks like it's close to ready.
They've been doing some prep. Looks like that they were just kind of doing the top finish on.
Well, when you see them start putting black topsoil back on,
Well, they've been doing that, north of where I farm over there.
yeah.
They've been building fence and it looks like, yeah, they could pave that this summer. I don't know if they will,
But then you get further, when you get further east, some of that Mathers construction is going, they've got some area there that they've got quite a bit of work to do yet, so.
yeah. Yeah, that first 3 miles west of 4, that's way behind.
Yeah.
The place I thought that they looked like maybe they were prepping is around the Lindquist pit there, that they were raising the top dressing look like.
I think they've got some sections that are getting pretty close to done.
Yeah, Board of Supervisors.
But yet that coming west from N28,
We're right in section now.
they haven't done anything for that. West of the borrow pit, I don't think they've done much, across the, what is it, Yankee? There was Halston.
No, they've got a lot of dirt to do there, but from like west of the river towards N14, it
Yeah.
looks like they were top dressing that.
But
Budget concern.
I would be surprised if they set the plan up north of Lit, what I've heard, the rumor on the plan, but they'll want to be able to get across the bridge before they pave west of there, because they typically run the trucks down.
I'm sure.
We want them to run the trucks down the grade, let me put it that way. We don't want them running around the section to get there, and so they'll have to get, and Moynihan can move a lot of dirt, in a hurry, so.
Jackie's got a question.
What's the time and location of that pre-construction meeting?
Yeah, I'm not even sure.
It's Tuesday at 1 o'clock.
Why,
And the location of that?
well, the township trustees
It's,
are place to start, so that's legal.
I'd have to look at the letter again. Usually usually have them in Cherokee, but it seems to me they moved this one. I'll have to look.
Well,
Okay.
I guess I'll have to look into it.
Otherwise,
Shows up. Land records.
They did get the desk controls done, can't have it turning lengths lately.
Concern.
Item 4 there, the totals on the gravel hauling quotes, JW Ready Mix was $130,400, Norm Dress Trucking was $145,600.
Okay, what's your phone number?
And then Mike did stop and try to talk to Keith Spicer, but he had some other people there and he didn't want to.
Well, I wanted the contact made, and that's what was important to me, thank
So
you.
What's your first name?
Mike told me he'd get hold of him back in a couple of weeks if he didn't.
I had a question asked, and I think I answered it properly. Like, when we had that backhoe go over, we have casualty or property coverage for that, correct? That we would have, so what we would need to do, we will have an insurance claim on that, less the
I'll look
deductible.
Yeah,
into it.
Mike has contacted them, I think, on that, and I don't know.
Session.
I guess
Thank you.
I haven't checked back with him, I guess, to see what.
But the question is, did we have property coverage on our equipment? And I said, yes, we do.
I'm not sure we have it on all equipment. I'd have to check that out. I mean,
Why wouldn't we have enough
well, once you get
significant equipment?
once you get enough equipment, I think we've got. No, I might have to check. I can't remember. I think there's comp, like if it was damaged in a fire or building burned down, it's covered. But like for a collision.
Well, that's licensed vehicles. I'm talking about road graders, excavating equipment, backhoes, those kinds of things should be covered on a blanket, just like.
I think they're covered under comp, but I'm not sure we've got collision on them. I mean, like if you, like this one, we roll over. I'd have to check. I'm gonna have to check on that. I shouldn't say. You're asking about basic collision.
Well,
where-
no, I'm talking about a blanket damage coverage.
I think I remember seeing that.
I mean, you do have those choices on your licensed vehicles, like trucks and those kinds of things, but I'm thinking of a property coverage. If you
Yes.
don't, you should.
I think I recall seeing that email from our ICAP where they sent, I think you've already gotten a check for that, repairs for that.
Repairs to that.
For the
That
backhoe. Okay. But I mean, just, that's something that's really never come up. I think we just kind of assumed that you did have a blanket coverage on that type of equipment. That excavator, you have something happen to that, that's a chunk of change. And I don't think we should be in a position that you're not covered. You have a tornado go through or something and have it wiped out. We don't have the cash reserves to go out and be buying something like that.
Well, like I said, I mean, I'm thinking of Calhoun, but I know we've got, I know like even our pickups over there would carry collision for certain, for a certain number of years and then we drop it.
Which makes good sense, but I'm talking about our equipment, not vehicles. Yeah, construction.
But I know that type of stuff is covered, if there was a fire or if there was a tornado that damaged it, but I can't remember on Well, if they paid on a rollover though, they must be covered under collision type issues. I'll double check on
It was something that had just never come up before.
Yeah.
I knew that we did cover a lot of our stuff, and I decided I'd never asked that directly before, so I will today.
that. I'll look that up. The issue with the cemetery, Glucose Cemetery, Mike had been down to look at it, and I'm going down that way tomorrow, and I'm gonna stop and look at it. It says basically got some vertical,
We got pictures of it, did you? I passed them around.
I haven't looked at it yet.
Excuse me, I'll.
he's built some vertical things off the columns that were there. And,
And he made it sound as if there was something.
Mike don't think it's going over the road.
Huh. How did you
I haven't,
understand?
I've been down there. I was gonna go that next day and something came in with it. Have time to go.
He had indicated that it had come down a couple of times.
Well, Mike did say that it's not very well attached to the cap on that column, and that it did look like it had been, like the weather, the wind had tipped it over before, and then they tried to stabilize it with some steel posts and some quarter-inch cable, but Mike still does question whether or not. It's not like he's dependent on the mortar connection with the top of the column to keep it.
Well, she said that in her conversation, or maybe it's in that letter, they were upset that it's damaged one of those concrete or brick pillars. And that was part of the reason for being so concerned.
Well, but that really wouldn't necessarily be a secondary roads issue. That would be a cemetery issue.
Right. But if I'm not mistaken, the columns are clear out on the secondary road, whereas the cemetery is way back.
Yeah, my understanding, these things are off the north-south road, which is over half mile from the cemetery.
Hmm.
So,
I'm not familiar with
Yeah, I'm not either.
I-
Mike says those columns have been there for, pillars have been there for a long time.
Yeah. Would they be cemetery property on the county road right away?
You know, I haven't seen them, I'm not sure how close to the road they even are. I mean, I would guess today if somebody asked permission to put them there, we'd probably say no, anything, we try to keep anything clear zone, which is usually 10 feet or greater, breakaway, so if they hit it, it breaks off. And, it sounds like these are some, I don't know if they're concrete or brick.
Brick, judging from the pictures. But
Well, how do we try and get the trustees to resolve the issue, or?
I think it's a trustee issue. They're the ones that are taking care of the cemetery. I mean, it's not a private cemetery.
Well, that phone call was from a guy that said there's an old cemetery down by Herring, and we abandoned it. Remember 2 years ago or 3 years ago, we abandoned that right or that, the old incorporated town.
Area there.
But if there's an old pioneer cemetery, that's a trustee issue.
The Pioneer Cemetery is a supervisor.
What,
But I don't know that there's ever been an official
transfer,
request
action
to
taken.
transfer.
And that comes from private
Well,
individual, or?
It depends really on if it's a cemetery that's been maintained by the trustees, and there hasn't been, I think it's 5 new burials in the last 50 years or something like that. They can ask for that Pioneer Cemetery designation. And then it becomes the responsibility of the Board of Supervisors.
Do we have any of those in Suffolk County?
We have some that could qualify, but we don't have any that
The individual said he thought it was really terrible. It wasn't being maintained. And he happens, I guess he has a lawn service.
Oh.
So he's got two interests. Which I don't think.
So is this right in Herring or next to Herring or?
I don't know. You know, I've been by there a lot. I
I know, it's kind of
don't.
on top
I think
of
I'm
that
gonna
grade.
talk to Gus Cleveland. Because Gus lives right. You know where it is?
I know about where it is.
Oh.
Yeah. There was a time,
On the west side of the road you're talking about?
was it west or south, I'm not sure.
Is this
Well,
the one?
it's north-south road. So it might be on the west side because that's
Yeah.
where the town was.
Because there was a school or something. Like from where that house was built, there on the west side up that hill, I think when we vacated that street or something.
Yeah, Neil Frederickson was.
I'm thinking of a different one. I'm thinking that this is on, clear up on top of a steep grade.
Well, I'll go down and look
That's
at it
on
and then
East
talk
Oaks
to
Road, I
the
think.
trustees.
Am I,
Yeah, a couple of years ago, didn't some 4-H group or something?
went down and
Cleaned it
cleaned it
up.
up and tried to identify the stones. I think Rebecca Hilmer was on the board then, and it's been
That's
10 years.
previous to 2001.
Yeah.
I came in
No, I
2001.
was here when this 4-H group did
Okay,
that.
so then that couldn't have been Rebecca.
Well, there was some activity when she was on the board.
I see.
What you're thinking about, I'm not familiar with them.
Yeah, but I know exactly, it's a steep hill to get up on into that cemetery.
Yeah. That's the one I'm thinking of, but evidently he must be talking about it. But, I mean,
Who are the trustees in the St. Kim? You know off the top?
would that be, George Schmidt, or is he in Iowa?
Is it Iowa?
That'd be Dan Barrett, maybe?
Yeah, there.
I have a list of them downstairs. Meister.
Just every once in a while, folks will mention the fact that the roads are awfully rough. We're grading them as much as we can, and
A lot of them got better.
I think the ones in the highway construction area are still.
just real bad.
I mean,
And which is understandable. I mean,
I went down 240th Street the other day there, just west of, east of N28. There's a spot in there that can throw you pretty good if you're not. I mean, I knew there was a soft spot in there, but I didn't realize it was still quite that bad. We put material in there, and trying to keep it bladed, but there's other spots like that too, where, still getting a lot of traffic, there still seems to be some soft spots.
Do you want to approve that gravel hauling bid?
yeah. You've indicated you've done the math. That's
Yeah.
We've got a low bid there. I will move to accept the low gravel hauling quote from JW Ready Mix and Construction for $130,400.
Those are the ones that we looked at last week.
Yep.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All ayes. J&W Ready Mix will receive the bid.
They're informal quotes, so it's
Quote.
probably actually wouldn't have to have a board action. And those quantities are just estimated on 5,000 ton per township. The actual will probably come in.
But you have the rate
Yep.
in those,
Yep.
and whatever the
Yeah.
quantity is that goes to the rate.
Yeah,
That was 8 townships?
I think that sounds right. I didn't bring those bids, quotes back with me today.
Thanks, Ron.
Thank you, Ron.
We did have a little wind yesterday, a few trees down, we had to take off the road, but nothing compared to what we had over
Oh, really?
those trees around Twin Lakes, Wind was out of the east and took a whole bunch of branches out of those on the south lake. There's a whole bunch of trees, single row along the west side there. So, I mean, this guy said they spent an hour and a half with a loader just pushing along the road, so that gives you an idea. Don't take long to push one tree up. There's quite a few down there, and then we had some scattered, some other places too. In my city, we did have a few down in Sac County too.
I had a big limb down in my yard last or yesterday morning. Came up real sudden just before I was coming up here.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Probably 11 o'clock or so, or.
Well, before, yeah, a little before 11, because I was late, because I had a phone call.
I had a big limb down across my driveway, I drove through Georgia. Started that.
Anything else?
I'll move to adjourn.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.